Support for Another Round comes from Squarespace. Go to squarespace.com today for a domain experience that's transparent and easy to set up. Just make sure you enter offer code Another Round at checkout to get 10% off. Make your next move with Squarespace.
Hey everyone, Eleanor from the Pod Squad here. I just wanted to share with you some very exciting news, and that is that Another Round is having a live show in Chicago, and we want to see you there. Join us on June 21st at Thalia Hall for a live taping of the podcast. It's going to be amazing. It's part of WBEZ's Podcast Passport series. And tickets go on sale on Friday, May 5th. And for more information, go to wbez.org/events.
All right, getting to know the listeners.
This is exciting. I'm kind of nervous, though.
Hi, everyone. I'm Patty Mayonnaise.
I'm Doug Funny.
This is Another Round with Patty Mayonnaise and Doug Funny.
Patty of the mayonnaise to me. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
What?
That was a song you sang for Patty.
Really?
Patty of the something in my something. Patty
Can I
of
tell
the
you
something
a
in my
song
something.
Brock from Pokemon sang to
Wow.
Nurse Jenny,
Please do.
also of the Pokemon universe. Jenny, oh Jenny. And then there's Officer Joy. Joy, oh Joy. A one woman man's what I wanna be, but there's two perfect girls for me. Hey, 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 whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, Officer Jenny, can't you see?
You committed.
Y'all, the way Nina just looked at me right now from the dude, she looked up from her computer like, what is happening? So one thing I realized is I looked this song up recently, and it's not even from like the most poppin' Pokemon movie. It's like
it's a Pokemon
fourth.
deep cut.
It's a
Oh shit.
so literally no one knows this song.
Well, I really enjoyed it.
I sing a lot when there's two perfect girls for me. Hey, hey, yo, whoa.
Wait a minute, who's the other one? Who I got to fight?
What we got on the show today, Trace?
So today we're gonna do something that we have not done before.
What's that?
The thing that we haven't done before is we're gonna talk to some of you,
Our
some of our
very
listeners.
first Another Round call-in show. I'm so hyped.
Yeah, so you know that we've been checking in with you about how you're doing with the holidays and your family and the state of
rough.
the world, and you know with the struggling and whatnot.
With the Trumps and whatnot. It's your little
Oh,
Trump.
my gosh,
It's
and
your little,
listen.
it's your little Donald.
What's your little friend? What's your little president? I heard about your little president. Yeah, that's how we should refer to him from now on because, listen, we don't explain a lot of things for non-black people on the show, but I'm going to do you a favor right now and explain to you the
Easiest
shade
way
that you just
to
heard.
invalidate an entire human.
Invalidate, discredit, just like completely just like shrink is put the word little in front of whatever they are.
I see
Like
it's your little girlfriend.
main thing, number
Your
one.
little job.
I see your little friend.
It's your little apartment.
Oh, look at your little shoes.
I see what your little president.
I see you. So anyway.
See what your little president-elect. How y'all doing?
The stories that y'all have about y'all's families underneath the leadership, quote unquote, of y'all's president, y'all's upcoming president, has been crazy. And we wanted to call and talk to some of y'all about it because
I'm so excited.
yeah, and we're also like sorry.
Yeah, I apologize in advance.
That we're all collectively going through this.
So another area of life where white people are talking to brown people and it's getting awkward
Yeah.
is with our celebrities. There was an
my gosh.
incredibly interesting exchange between Margaret Cho and Tilda Swinton about her role in the movie Doctor Strange, a Marvel movie. So you know there was money behind it.
They got money.
They got money.
And Margaret, of course, we've had on the show before.
Yeah.
Great.
Episode 36. Get
Look
with
at you
it.
knowing all the episodes. Okay.
So-
Killer episode.
So in keeping with our theme of awkward racial conversation, we are going to
This
have
is a good one.
friend of the show, Gene Demby, back on to talk about what happened between Tilda and Margaret. Get to the bottom of it. It's
Yeah.
awkward. It's weird. It's petty. I'm
Yeah.
living for it.
Let's do it.
We have all the emails. I'm
And
so
receipts.
excited. We have all the receipts. Let's get on with the show.
Let's do it.
Can I just talk to you about that? That email exchange was so fucked up.
Wait,
Okay.
Wait.
Sorry.
So, quick backstory. I'm going to just try to sum it up as quickly as I can. So, there's this movie, Marvel movie, Doctor Strange, Mad Money. Tilda Swinton was cast as someone who was originally Tibetan, the ancient one.
And she like real white, right?
She were a white.
She
Like
mad white.
translucent.
Yes. And apparently she had this conversation with Margaret Cho. And we know about this because Margaret Cho was on a podcast talking about this exchange she had with Tilda Swinton. And because Jezebel wrote this up, the podcast conversation, Tilda Swinton's people released the emails, which was the full extent of their conversation.
Not a good.
We all have a lot of feelings already, but
Absolutely.
is that how you would summarize what happened?
Yes, absolutely how I summarize what happened. And also, the way that it came across when Jezebel wrote it up was, okay, Margaret Cho lied about the way that exchange went down, right?
So the headline for the original Jezebel piece is Margaret Cho says she had a fight with Tilda Swinton over whitewashed Doctor Strange role.
Right. That's what the headline says. So I was like, oh, let me see what the Margaret Cho on some bullshit. Let me see how you want. Right. And then if you actually read the emails, it just struck me as really familiar. You know what I mean? Like, this is the kind of email we get all the time on Code Switch. And I get a lot of time personally, right? In which some white person who honestly thinks of themselves as well-intentioned will send you an email basically like saying, I want to have a conversation with you about this issue. And you know what I mean? I'm not trying to play telepath here, but what they really want is some kind of absolution. You
For
know what I mean?
something.
For something.
They're feeling.
So what did Tilda say to Margaret?
Well, she says, I've heard that Margaret Cho was involved in this conversation about the casting of this movie, right? And, how do we get ahead of this and how do we talk about this? And they're both exceedingly polite through this whole exchange, right? I'm such a fan.
The opening line is, we've never met, but you've been in my head for years. I'm a fan.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Right? I mean,
beautiful.
and that's how the opening lines in these emails are. And Margaret Cho is like, look, I hear what you're saying. You got to understand that people are upset because Asian American actors have been whitewashed out of movies for a long time. Your movie is not the first, right? Like, this is not about you specifically, but, this is a historical thing. This is a institutional thing. This is about structures.
So you start with this personal example you have, which is the immediate Tilda Swinton role, and then try
Right.
to point to a sort of larger structural history.
Exactly. But, and I'm trying to say this nicely, I think that white people are really vested in the idea that, like, any conversation about race is a conversation about personal things, about personal stakes, which means Tilda Swinton is, like, moving this conversation back into the space of, like, what's going on in her heart, right?
Right.
The conversation stays polite even as this exchange goes on, but it's clear that Tilda Swinton is, like, pushing back on the stuff like, well, that's not why I did this, and these are the reasons.
Yeah,
they cast
I'm a
it this
good
way, blah,
person
blah,
is
blah.
like the undercurrent. I'm one of the
Exactly.
good ones.
That's-
Can you
I'm
please
one of the
tell
good
everybody
ones.
that I'm one of the good ones? Can you please give me your
Which is
cosign on
always
G, you got some feelings,
I
man.
know. Don't feel
Let
like
them
you
out.
have to hold back.
Let them out.
So since the election, and me and Jamel Bowie of Slate and Tracy McMillan Cotton of Everywhere and Aisha Harris of Slate had this conversation about what it's like to be a black person who talks about race in public in the aftermath of Trump's election. And my inbox has been like on fire, like just like random people like, hey, so I've been thinking a lot. Like, I mean, people I don't know, right?
I mean, are these people who like follow your work at least?
I think so. I
Okay.
think so. And they just have these feelings, and they're feeling them at us, right? They're just like, I have feelings, I'm going to dump them on you.
Yeah.
And they're sort of asking for a thing that I can't give. I can't absolve you of whatever's going on in your life. And they want to have a conversation that's like optimistic, right?
What suggests that to you in Tilda's exchange?
The way she responded to Margaret Cho by saying, like, I'm one of the good ones. And, my history, I mean, I'm a 55-year-old Scottish woman, right, who lives in the Highlands.
Oh, my
I don't see
gosh.
myself on the
Do
screen.
you
and,
know
like,
what that reminded me of? Heben,
What?
we talked about this once on the podcast when Muhammad Ali passed. There's this great clip of him from like way back in the day on somebody's talk show, whatever. And he's like going off about like racism and like how hard it is for like a black man to do anything in the world. And this white lady stands up and she's like, well, it's also hard for Scottish people. He was like, stop. No. Like, your experience is not my experience. And I really,
Right.
really, really, really hate it when other people, whether they're like white or like, I mean, there are a lot of like different privileges where like they try to bond with black people through like some thread of oppression that isn't actually there. Like, oh my gosh, she was like, I have high cheekbones, so I can't get it. Bitch, if you don't, what are you talking about? What are those cheekbones covered with? Porcelain ass
know.
skin that gives you a very different
The
experience.
exact quote Tilda has is, I'm a Scottish woman of 55 who lives in the Highlands. There's precious little projected on contemporary cinema screens. That means a great deal to my life, if truth be told.
I was like, when she said that, I turned my head all the way to the side. Like, what did you? But as Margaret Cho pushes back, she's like, I don't know what you want me to say to that other than, this is a historical trend, right? This is not just about you. It's about Scarlett Johansson.
Yes,
and
it's bigger
Ghost
than
in the
you.
Shell. This has happened a lot. And I feel like I was talking to this brilliant researcher named Philip Atiba-Goff. He does all this stuff on unconscious bias, right? That's what he's famous for. But we had this conversation a couple weeks ago because, after the election, everyone was saying like, hey, we shouldn't call people who say racist things racist because
Bullshit.
we can't pull them along. And what Philip was saying to me was basically, and this like blew my mind when he said it, he's like, basically, our popular understanding of racism is racist because it centers entirely on what is going on in white people's hearts, right? And so, like, these big things that affect people of color, things that we can measure and we can see in the world, housing segregation, because they become about what's happening in white people's hearts, then we have to litigate like what's going on in people's like inner lives, right? You know what I mean? And then it becomes about what was happening in that individual cop's head, right? Or in this case, what was happening in an individual casting director's head, or what was happening in Tilda Swinton's head. And the reality is we can't know those things.
We always have to give them the benefit of the doubt that we never ever get.
And we can't know what's going on, but these things keep happening anyway, right? We never can have the conversation about personal decisions that people make and societal decisions that we make, right? Because we have to have the conversation about like whether someone is good or bad. You know what I mean? And that basically bogs down the conversation in a way we can't get to anything that we need to talk about.
I feel like we don't get as many of these emails as you get, like the kind of emails from white folks like,
let's trade lives.
hi, no, thank you.
Freaking Friday.
Right, but we do get some and we don't respond to them like very intentionally. Like we're not here to be anybody's diversity counselors or make you feel better about any of the like misguided shit. Do you in your job have like a similar policy? Do you engage with people who write you looking for that sort of shit?
Yeah, so we do sometimes. I mean, we get we have a team email, right? And so all the emails we get from the podcast come to us, and we look at them and sometimes we'll forward them like, hey, there's something to think about, if it's useful.
Yeah.
But we get a lot of the emails I was just talking about, right? And there's actually no rhyme or reason as to when I respond. Like, especially like if I'm really irritated, sometimes that like makes me want to respond. And so, and I also have to like push myself away from the screen for a second, and I'll read it to the team. Like, let me just read this out loud to y'all. Like literally these Tilda Swinton ass emails that we get. Right? And one of the things that was really interesting to me about the response, and I think that was like sort of telling to me about the response that people had to the Tilda Swinton emails were like, she was really polite.
As if that matters.
Right, but also, when we talk about these emails amongst ourselves and our team, right? Or like I will turn to someone else and be like, yo, this is bananas. Like, I can't believe this person wrote this, right? And if I respond, I will respond like literally with the same kind of politeness that Margaret Cho used, right? I've ended emails with, hope this helps, right?
And they're like, you're
just
mean.
She literally said, hope this helps.
Right.
Like I will like, here's some links, blah, 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 hope this helps, right? And I realized that for that person at the other end of the email, they think we had a perfectly polite exchange because they don't know that we were over here like, are you? And so when all these people were like, Margaret Cho mischaracterized that exchange, I was like, no, she didn't. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that was the experience she was having in that email, which was not Tilda Swinton's experience. And I think for a lot of white people reading that exchange, they like only saw the part in which they were being polite to each other. They didn't imagine what was happening off the page, or Margaret Cho was probably looking around like, this what the you know what I'm saying?
First of all, I don't know this woman from a hole in the wall, and here she comes. That's wild.
This one woman sent me like a 700-word email about like how
She sure did.
I do not know this woman at all. She sent it to my personal account. It wasn't even like she sent it to the coach account. She was like, hey, I don't know you, but here's some things I'm thinking, and what are we gonna do? And I was like, who's you? You know what I'm saying?
And I feel like there's a thing that happens when people of color get these emails from people, at least, like, I mean, this was the case for me in the beginning until I was like, you know what, I'm just not going to entertain this stuff because I don't have to, because I'm not getting paid to do this part of this labor. But it really puts people in like a really awkward position to be like, I don't want to deal like this today, but maybe I have to because I want to help like the whole racism shit. Like, people just don't know that they don't have to do it, you know?
You people feel conscripted, right? Like,
right.
like
Oh my God, it's a conscription. Racial conscription.
The race wars, y'all.
White people, your
Today you've been
emails are
tagged in.
conscription.
But it was fascinating how many white people were like, well, how are we supposed to learn, right? If you don't answer these questions.
If you don't teach me.
How are we supposed
Who
to learn?
shall?
Right. It's not like there have been books written on this stuff, right?
Right. And, there was this study that's found that, 75% of white people don't have any non-white friends, right?
Yep,
they have
yep,
no
yep.
friends of color whatsoever, right?
So that's why they're
And so,
reaching out to the one they know
Because
on
they don't
Twitter.
know any other
They've
ones.
decided, they've race inflated us, right? Race inflation. Like, I followed you on the internet. We're friends now. Let me ask you these questions.
Yeah.
And I should say here, back up a little bit. Like, I am a feminist who has a very flawed feminism, you know what I mean? And like Tracy and I have been friends for a million years. Like she's called me out when I've messed up, right? Sometimes you
Listen.
need your people to call you out, you know what I'm saying? That is
Let me
really
tell you about your
important.
little views, your little beliefs.
But like if you don't have people to call you out, like I sort of understand why you would be like, well, I need to talk to someone people who have thought about this stuff.
Word.
But the thing is that there's this irritation that people have when you're like, nah, I'm not trying to do that. And they're like, well, how am I supposed to
How
learn?
could
It's like,
you? Yeah, like hell no, what am I supposed to do now? Oh my
it's
God.
not. It's unfair. I mean, literally just today, someone was like, "Well, it doesn't help when someone tweeted this at us at Code Switch. It doesn't help when you don't know whether someone's going to be, if they're going to respond in honestly, or if they're going to send you to a bunch of links." I was like, a bunch of links is a response. You know what I'm saying?
Listen,
Like,
you got to
know
do
what I
some
mean?
work, but I mean, it's an honest response.
Absolutely.
Something that I learned from a one Miss Heben Nigatu is that it's
I'm
more
listening.
is that fairness is more important than niceness.
I believe my exact quote was "fuck politeness."
Right. I was trying to be polite and phrasing it
Say
that way.
more.
But
I just feel like there's so much at the heart of this that's like what Margaret did wrong was like express herself, which is like
Right.
as a person of color, it's impolite to do that.
or to say something to give the answer that the white person in that moment doesn't want to hear, because when they hit you up, they're looking for a very particular thing for you to say.
Right.
And when you give them something aside from that, it's like, oh my gosh, you're just so aggressive, just so this, just so that. It's like, no, you're just uncomfortable because I just told you what you already know to your face, you
Yeah.
know,
To
and
your
it's not
face.
my problem.
Absolutely. Two things that this email exchange. One, I was just like, yo, I'm gonna start taking notes from these Margaret phrases. Some of them were just like excellent.
What are your favorites?
One of them was like, but this particular case of the ancient one is just another in a long list of whitewashed Asian characters, and so you're likely to feel the heat of history.
Ooh,
Because a lot of what happens is white
history
people.
got its flames on
Listen,
you, girl.
listen. White people feel like, oh, I feel so attacked. Me as an individual, it's all
Right.
about me. It's like, bruh.
Someone suggested that I have been affected by the toxicity that is the racism that our country is
Right.
founded on. Like, fucking, of course you have.
Welcome
of course
to being
you have.
alive.
You know?
Right,
Welcome
right,
to being alive.
Right. Tracy said in the conversation we had on Slate, like, when white people reach out to us, she says, I'm going to just quote her here, white readers want absolution. They also want to manage all the risks of interracial contact in a way that minority groups can never do.
Woo!
It is a really privileged ass, right? Basically,
Yo.
they are offloading, right? They're offloading all of the risks of offense or whatever onto people of color when they make these asks. And you can tell, like, what happened in the end was Tilda went and said, I want to talk to you about this stuff, right? And basically the ask was really about, like, I want you to tell me what I already want to hear, right? And I want you to help me. And then when Margaret Cho had a different experience with that exchange, they blew up her spot, right? You know what I'm saying? They in the end, the risks all fell on her, right? In the end, the conversation became about Margaret Cho being a drama queen, right? And that she was a liar and she was just being dramatic, right?
Just making it
And-
something that it wasn't.
Exactly. And so, like, I just find it fascinating that the risks are so asymmetrical, right? That the people of color absorb all the responsibility for the labor and all the responsibility for the risk, you know what I mean? But white people are the people who feel like, oh, I can't walk into this conversation because I might risk something. No,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
rarely do.
I would like to end on this note. I said on Twitter the other day that if I was a white person, I would be embarrassed at how, like, all my cohorts expect to be coddled and handheld and treated like they can't handle reality. That would offend me, you know? White people, be angrier at this. Talk to your girl. Talk to all the tildas in your life. Gather your tildas and get them
all your well-spoken, high
together.
cheekbone tildas.
Yes. Get your tildas. Put them in the same spot, the same, I don't know. I didn't think this metaphor through.
Okay.
I wanted to mention the Patty Mayonnaises because I thought it would have been like a good callback, but you know
Was
what?
Patty Mayonnaise white? Wasn't she,
She
like,
wasn't,
brown?
though.
Skeeter, who was blue, was really
Yeah,
black.
he's
Yo.
obviously
You know
You know what I'm
black.
saying? He's obviously black.
Okay, so this will definitely happen on another episode. Gene Demby, thank you for joining us and allowing us to be your therapist because you just seemed like you had something on your soul. I was like, we need to get Gene in here to let it out, to exhale. Shoop, shoop, shoop. Shoot, baby. You're not gonna join in and sing? Hello, Gene. Okay.
Gene, smooth left you hanging.
All right, Gene. Where can the people find you and your work?
I'm at Code Switch, NPR Code Switch on Twitter. Our podcast, the Code Switch podcast, is about race, ethnicity, and culture. Holler at us.
Just don't be a tilde.
I think it would benefit some people who are not often in these conversations to hear the calculus that people of color often have to sort of run through before they engage this stuff. Anyway.
All right. So for all your racial calculus needs, check out NPR Code Switch.
Hi,
Hi, TJ.
Oh my gosh! Hi!
What
What is up?
How you doing?
I'm good, girl. These white people are driving me crazy.
You know
I
what?
literally just got out of work. It was one of those days where, on my breaks, I was looking at, Primal Screaming, one of those workshops. It was one of those. But I made it.
Oh my gosh! But listen, hopefully we can help you blow off a little bit more steam since you were fresh out of work away from your white people. I know you have a lot of stuff on your heart and your spirit and your mind. But before we do that, congratulations on your recent wedding! Oh my god!
Thank you so much.
So I'm very invested in your story because I see that you are from Indiana.
Yes, girl. I've had a
And-
couple of bouts with you on Twitter about this. You hating on Indiana.
Listen,
Yes,
we can have it
girl.
out right here.
Oh my God.
On a serious note, though, Indiana, from my experience with it, is not the most tolerant place. So for you, as a black man married to a white man, apparently his family, things were cool until Thanksgiving when, quote, people got drunk. Because you, quote,
girl.
can't argue with liquor. That is
You
the
can't.
best. And true. So
One
true.
fact.
It's
One
real.
fact.
Right. Do you
It's
know
so
how
real.
often I've been loud and belligerent and completely wrong while drunk? But
Girl,
it didn't
try to tell
matter.
one of your homegirls it's time to go when she is crunk at the club.
Oh, no, no. Why we got to go? This
You
my
cannot
song.
argue with
I can
liquor.
just get an Uber. It's fine. It's fine.
Right, exactly.
That's usually me. So,
Like me too. Let me not play. But,
sound like we need to
still
hit
in
the
25.
clubs together. So Thanksgiving was going okay until the liquor came out. And y'all get to talking about Trump. What happened?
So before the liquor went down, everything was really about, we just had our first wedding anniversary. So all the questions are, when are the babies coming? And I'm like, when are you going to give us $20,000 to have a baby? After that happens, and the liquor happens, that's when you start having the private conversations about so our next president, man, you got the big Donald Trump, got Donald Trump making America great again, and
So these are
and-
some Trump supporters, his family.
just a couple, but that's the thing.
Okay.
His family is full of unioners, and they were kind of split. It was weird. So for the most
That's
part, before the
interesting.
liquor came in, no one really talked about it. But when you get to the garage where you're getting a drink or whatever, there's someone there and they want to talk to you about it real quick. Or so how do you feel? Trying to kind of gloating about it. I can tell, but I am, like I said, 25 years growing up in the state of Indiana. I know good and well
You've seen this
how
before.
to avoid a conversation with a white person I don't want to have.
Yes, no, yes.
Yes, my mama taught me well. Thank you very much. Oh my goodness. Have a white person voice on the phone when someone's trying to get money from no.
Right.
But-
Right.
and it was mostly avoidable. But there were a couple of times where I felt kind of cornered, when my husband was talking with, one of his cousins or whatever.
Were you
And-
one of the only black people at this dinner?
Oh, girl, I'm the only black person.
I'm so stressed out. This is so stressful.
So did you anticipate that people would be voting for Trump in this family?
Now, that's the thing. I always expected this is union area. This is, of course, going to go blue. Of course they voted for, Hillary, whatever. And especially when a lot of them went to our wedding, and enjoyed it and had so much fun and still talked
Ate
to us
all the
about,
shrimp.
girl, we had a drag queen at our wedding. A RuPaul's drag race drag queen. And
That
one of his
sounds lit.
cousins-
I know.
Oh, it was the
Wait,
it was
who
the
was
biggest
the
party
drag
of the
queen? Who was there?
We have Fifi O'Hara. It was before
my
All-Stars, I would
gosh.
say. But yes, it was so much fun. It was so
I
much
get it.
fun. I know, but like they were there enjoying, drinking our free liquor for them. You know, there are a couple people that surprised me. I'll say.
Do you feel like there's something you wish you could have said to them?
Oh my God! I feel like every black person has something they want to say to every white person in their life. Like,
Tell
if
us a
they
few
didn't
of
have
those.
that filter on. Exactly. But my husband and I have been talking about it before. Like, we could walk into this and have, you know, some sort of confrontation. And, like, my husband, Matt, is just, like, anti-confrontation at all times, but, like, will pop off when he needs to.
Okay.
Well, that's good. That's
you
good.
know,
You won me
you
back.
know,
First I was like,
exactly. Right. But you pump yourself up before and like, oh, I'm going to say all this shit. Like, I'm woke as fuck. I know what the fuck to say to get you together. But when you get there, and especially after, you know, I've been there for hours at this point and had a good time with all of them, and then they bring the shit up.
yeah.
It's like that, until that point, like, I never questioned it.
So you also told our producers that you identify as very Black Lives Matter #.
Oh my gosh, yes.
But as somebody who exists in white spaces, there's still like the quote unquote respectable Negro thing that you want to play sometimes, just for the sake of like getting through the day or getting through the situation, getting through a dinner with drunk Trump supporters, right?
Right.
So if you decided to completely abandon the calm, non-threatening part of you that doesn't challenge people when they're like talking crazy to you, how do you think your husband would respond? Would he support you?
Oh, see, that was a big thing about why I married this man, is because he's never once, since we've been together, like, and he's seen me pop off on people, like, never once tried to silence me. And especially with, like, I have a younger sister who's in high school, and just seeing her, like, seeing the challenges that she's going through that I went through, just because she is a black girl in this, like, such a white space, that's why I'm vocal about it. Like, saying that Black Lives Matter, like, it's Black lives don't just matter for all the people who, like, are pro-black, who live in, like, black spaces, you know. When you say Black Lives Matter, all Black lives fucking matter. So, like, people incarcerated, people who are, like, as much as I fucking hate Stacey Dash, or I want to say I do, like, love
Even
her black
Stacey
ass
Dash.
too.
Listen,
Because, like, as
Even
much as she
Stacey
wants to-
Dash's life matters.
Exactly,
I've
exactly.
genuinely never
And
thought about
especially want to, like, pop off on her or whatever.
Yeah.
Girl, I came to that realization after a few too many drinks. Let me just say, like, that was in some deep meditation, some deep bourbon and meditation.
Oh
That's
my
what
God,
it was.
TJ, I want to talk to you all day and forever and learn more about you and your amazing husband.
Oh my gosh, you guys have been so fun. Thank you.
Oh, well, again, congratulations on your wedding and
Yes.
congratulations on finding a good one. It sounds like you did well.
Yes.
Thank you, girl. Thank you so much.
Yes.
I'll keep them, I think.
Okay, and you know what? If you got to send it back to the store, it happens. Just keep your receipt. Hello.
Hello?
Hi, Katrina. Is this Katrina?
Oh my God, it's so nice to talk to you.
It's so nice to
Such a
talk
big
to you.
fan.
Thank you. So, from what we understand, what our producers have told us is that you have a grandma, and both you and grandma come from a Mexican Chinese family, right?
Yes.
And grandma is married to this white dude who we shall call Pop Pop. Because I think
That's a good name for him.
Awesome, Pop Pop. So Pop Pop's got a little problem, and this problem is that he uses the success of other brown cultures to support and justify his anti-black racism. Is that accurate?
Yep.
Girl, that sounds
it.
stressful. So do you find that this behavior has gotten worse post-election?
I don't. I think it's these ideas that he's had that the media keeps feeding. And so he talks about, protesters as, rioters, that kind of language.
Oh, so like all the typical, like the use of coded language, like using thug
Yes.
when you really mean black person, like that sort of thing.
Exactly.
Oh.
Exactly. Ugh, it's so ugly.
Yeah.
So how does that, like, how have you been trying to deal with that?
Well, I try to stay calm and answer his questions as logically as possible. So the first time that we talked about things was after Trayvon Martin, and so it was like Thanksgiving, and that was a really rough one because he comes from a family policeman. And so that was a really, really tough one to even try to get towards. But this last one, I think, went a little bit better. And now I'm going to buy him a book and hope he reads it.
Oh, that's good. Wait, you said this one went better. Why do you think that this one went better?
I think because he kept asking me questions.
That's a good sign.
Yes,
that is a great sign.
Yeah, and so I think he respects my intelligence enough to ask me questions and to keep probing, but there's still, like, so much that is underlying, like, all of his assumptions.
Uh-huh.
So it's just hard to even get to a place of common understanding.
So you mentioned that you had bought them a book?
Yeah, I was talking to a colleague. She's reading The Warmth of Other Suns about the Great Migration.
Yes, by Isabel Wilkerson.
And so it sounds amazing. And so she's a white person, and she was like, oh, I didn't realize my family passed down wealth this way. And so she is already, San Francisco kind of woke, and she was reflecting on her privilege because of that book. Mm-hmm. So I thought it might be a good starting point for him.
Do you feel like he's amenable to facts?
Is he open to logic?
Not a given these days. Not a given.
It's tough to get there. So I have to, like, break things down. And so I got him to say, like, well, maybe most people aren't that way. I'm like,
hey,
maybe you shouldn't make assumptions about giant groups of people.
The tiniest baby step. Oh my gosh, it's important.
Yeah, baby steps. So,
and how does the rest of your family respond? How's your grandma respond?
Ooh, good question.
Well, my grandma does not hear very well, so she was sitting in the passenger seat, possibly only catching glimpses. I think that's why their marriage works, because she can't really hear him.
You know what? The key to staying married to a man is find a way to not have to listen to him.
I can barely hear him. This marriage works excellently.
he talking about something. I don't know what it is. It's fine.
All right, Grandma.
Well, Katrina, thank you so much for calling in and sharing your family with us. Quick tip. Maybe you and Mom and anybody else in the family could read The Warmth of Other Suns together and have a little book club situation and talk about it.
I am definitely going to read it with my lady book club, so I'll try to keep them posted, and I don't know. I'll try to keep them in the loop.
You're doing the Lord's work. All of this stuff takes energy and heavy lifting, and God bless you for doing it.
Yeah, stay strong in the struggle, girl.
Yes, stay strong in the struggle. Also, if any of our listeners have good book recommendations, let us know. Send us all of your book recommendations to wake up the sleepy people in your life. Katrina, thank you so much for listening to another round.
Thank you so much. I love you guys.
I love you too. Oh my God.
Bye.
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 Hi,
Jess.
Oh my God. Hi, ladies.
So, Jess, you are from Boston. Condolences.
Oh, shots fired at Boston.
Oh, no, that is accurate. It is so cold, I can't even tell you.
Exactly. You're welcome, everyone.
Yeah, no, really.
Okay, so quick background on your story. So, you have a transgender wife. And
who we shall call Jay.
Yes. Whose family you've been struggling to communicate with because they regularly basically invalidate her identity.
Yeah, what do you mean by they invalidate her identity?
Okay, so it's been over a year, and Jay's mom refuses to use her name or her pronouns.
Wow.
And just acts like it's the world's worst imposition, and she couldn't possibly do this. Oh, my favorite is that she asked my wife to come as her dead name self to her funeral.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Right.
The
So we're dealing
of
with
petty.
So this is like more than, this makes me uncomfortable.
Right.
And I forget to use your actual name and pronouns. This feels
A willful violence.
It's like all about her and about how it's not good for her and why does she have to do this? Yeah, it's like that.
So what do you even do in a situation like that?
Yeah.
How do you even have a relationship with the family?
Well, We use the Dan Savage methodology of give them a year.
Of
What
give
is
them
that?
a year?
Give them a year to act like an idiot. And then after that, your best leverage on your family is your presence.
So you just take it away if they don't show
Yeah.
up?
Yeah,
Oh,
pretty much.
Mm.
Where are you in the year so far? I'm assuming you've already implemented it.
Like 16 months, so like we're past.
Oh,
Yeah.
no. So does that mean that y'all, like, there's no communication anymore?
Well, it's been after the election, and my mother-in-law's attitude is, well, we'll see. Like, how bad will it get? We'll see. Well, you don't have anything to worry about.
In regards to Trump in particular?
Yeah.
Oh, ma'am, your daughter is transgender, and this man is not gonna help anybody
No.
who's women at all.
Right. So to have that kind of attitude,
Mm-hmm.
and not no empathy, no sense of you're right, that's hard, or I mean I don't necessarily like other aspects of the political climate, but I support my child. I mean, I've got a kid. I can't imagine not supporting my kid.
Right.
No, I mean it goes against all reason.
So speaking of support, one of the things that we talk about a lot on the show is self-care and being kind to yourself. And we also know that when you're somebody who's taking care of somebody else who's going through a whole lot, that, sometimes we forget to take care of ourselves. Are you taking care of yourself? Do you have people who are looking out for you when you get very frustrated with the situation? Like, what do you do? How do you take care of yourself?
Well, first of all, I listen to you guys.
Oh, I was not fishing, I promise, but I'll take it.
But no, seriously, you're ongoing, like you're constantly talking about self-care, and so that's always present in my mind. I'm thinking about what can I do to make sure that I don't just go off the rails and have to be hospitalized.
Right.
I go to a lot of therapy.
Shout out to therapy.
Yes, therapy.
Shout out to a lot of therapy, first of all. I go to a lot of therapy. I need to go to a lot of therapy. Good.
Therapy is the best.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of great friends, and I mean, okay, so we can diss a little bit on Boston, but it's also a really nice bubble.
Uh-huh.
So I'm surrounded by people who love me and support us both, and the trans community in Boston is strong.
All
Good.
right, Boston.
I'm surprised. I don't know
Really?
a lot about Boston, but it doesn't strike me as the most inclusive place.
Well, think about all of the universities alone bring the level of liberal to, I mean, and think about who our senator is, Elizabeth Warren. She's the best human being on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Should be going off.
Yeah, she's the best. She's the best. And, so we have great support. I mean, there's a ton of trans community activism going on, like in like the places where I work. They are everywhere. They're just in the area.
That's
not even part of
awesome.
my work, and they're right next to me.
Yeah, because
So-
when you can't get it from family, you have to you have to find family elsewhere, which it sounds like you've done a really, really good job doing. So shouts to you.
Thank you.
Of course. But I do have one more question, though, to bring it back to family.
Sure.
If you could say one thing to your wife's mom, uninterrupted, and really had her receive it, what would that one thing be?
Oh, I think that I would ask her, what is she so afraid of?
Ooh.
Like, what is it that causes her to not channel? I mean, she's supposedly a good Christian, and she's not
Supposedly a
showing
good
it.
Christian.
And she's not showing it by loving her child and giving that child unconditional love.
Mm-hmm.
Like, isn't that what a Christian is supposed to do to their child? I mean, much less any normal human being.
Right.
And just like, what is it? I mean, I really feel like there's something going on there that I just want to understand. What is it
Yeah.
that makes her shut down?
Yeah. Well, listen, Jess, I'm so glad that you have a good support system in your life and that your wife has you to lean on. It sounds tough, but y'all sound tough too. So that's awesome.
Thank you.
Tell the supposed good Christian in your life that we're praying for her. Straight to God.
Ooh, nice. Yeah.
And good luck and happy holidays. And keep
Thanks.
listening to Another Round.
I just wanted to say one last thing is
Sure.
that I really appreciate you encouraging your listeners to keep going even though it's hard. That, I'm talking to my family, well, my in-laws, even though it's hard, because how else are they going to understand the people who are marginalized unless I do something that's uncomfortable and frustrating?
Aw, if you want something different, you got to do something different.
So thank you for being the voice of reason in my earbuds every week.
Aw, thank you so much. Listeners, be like Jess.
Thank you, my friend.
Of course. Thank you, Jess. Happy holidays. Good luck to you.
Thanks.
Keep your head up.
I appreciate it.
Support for Another Round comes from Squarespace. With Squarespace, you get a unique domain experience that's simple to set up and an all-in-one platform to help you create a beautiful website. Which brings me to a game of Would You Rather Internet Edition. And here is where we invite Tyler Sorensen from BuzzFeed's creative department into the studio to ask me one hard Would You Rather question about the internets. Hi, Tyler.
Hey, Tracy.
What's up?
Not much. I have your question, though, if you want to answer that.
Let's do it.
Here it is. It's, would you rather your employer see your search history or your parents?
Easy answer. I would rather have my employer see my search history because I can blame it on working for a company as strange as BuzzFeed. Like, oh, I had to look up this very embarrassing thing because I'm researching it for a post. But I would have no excuses for my mom. I mean, I guess it could have been just be like, no, it's for work.
So you don't really care who
I
sees
don't care.
it? Okay.
Show it to the world. Get your unique domain today at squarespace.com. If you sign up for a year, the domain is completely free, and you can also save 10% off your first purchase with the offer code Another Round, as in the title of the wonderful show that you are listening to right now. Make your Make your next move with Squarespace.
Hi,
Hi, Nerea.
Hi.
Okay, so Norea, your story comes to us via our producers. They tell us that you are a mixed Filipina white woman.
Yeah, so my dad is white. My mom immigrated to the Philippines in her 20s. They met when he was in the Navy during Vietnam.
Okay.
So they met there. He brought her back to the small town in Indiana where I grew up.
And when did you start identifying as a non-white person?
I think race was always something that was presented to me as black and white, you know, like there's black people who live in Gary, and then there's what I thought was us. Like that was how it was presented to me, and I knew my mom was an immigrant, of course. It took getting out to be like, oh, that thing that kept happening to me, that having to defend my existence everywhere I went in Indiana, you know, just constantly being asked, what are you? Like that was the question. That's how people phrased it most frequently. Is, what are you?
People love to ask that question, what are you? So they can figure out how to treat you, which is very, very whack.
And I had no vocabulary. I had no way to articulate why that was so uncomfortable and so hurtful.
So you eventually got to a point where you very intentionally identified and described yourself as a woman of color. But your dad, who is white, yes?
Yes.
Did not think of you that way, right?
So it was actually really sweet. It started out really sweet. Like he calls me up. You know, I live in Seattle now. Mm-hmm. He called me up a few days after the election. And, you know, we haven't been able to ever talk about politics. So, to his credit, he calls me up and he says, I want you to know that I didn't vote for Trump.
Did you think he had?
I wasn't sure, and I was afraid to ask.
Listen, I understand.
So real.
I understand.
Okay, so he calls you up. He says he didn't vote for Trump.
Right. And I said to him, thank you. Like, as a woman of color, I thank you. And then we proceeded to have a pretty decent conversation about race which we never really had. And so I was actually feeling kind of hopeful, like, for us to be able to talk civilly about the situation and sort of have a shared horror over Trump. You know, like it felt like, oh, maybe there is some way that people can come together. Maybe we do have some shared values as Americans.
So in the conversation that you and your dad were having, when you said, as a woman of color, I thank you, like, do you remember the words that he said, like what his initial response was to you?
You know, I don't. Like, what happened was, here's what happened. My sister.
What had happened was.
My sister sent me this text a few days later, and she's like, she lives in the same town as my dad, so she sees him all the time. And she's like, hey, I was talking to Dad, and he mentioned that you referred to yourself as a woman of color on the phone the other day, and he seemed genuinely like confused or amused by it, and she said to him,
or amused?
Yeah, like she
Those
couldn't
are
quite
two pretty
tell.
different emotions.
We actually talked about it last week because I finally got the nerve to like call him up and confront him about it. So,
So what
like,
did you say?
I was like, hey, I got this text from my sister, and his response was, well, I just don't think of you as any race, and that I see you as an individual. And I get this from especially white people a lot. Like, I see you as an individual.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
and I hear that. I feel like that's a little bit different with like outside white people. When it's your father, do you feel like he sees himself as left out in some way?
Well, when a person has a child of a different gender, you know, I mean, gender obviously is like a more fluid thing. But I mean, like, if he can relate to his child as a woman, could he not relate to her as a woman of color?
I do not know what white people
Answer
think.
the question, Heben.
I do not know how white people think. I'm just asking
You're right.
how he may be feeling at that time.
Yeah.
What was it about that statement that like took him aback?
What he said was, I just feel like we need to get past these labels.
Can you tell my society and my America to get past the labels? Because when they do, then I will. Like, you know?
Yeah, and I was like, well, I get that. Like, I'm as tired of race as anyone.
Nobody is more tired of race than the people who are oppressed by racism. Nobody is more tired. Nobody.
I would love to never talk about
Exactly. I would love that. I would love it.
I would love it. I'm with you. I'm with white people. We're with you on this. However,
we agree.
However, we're not quite there yet. And for you to for you to, I mean, this happens to me all the time where people say to me, like, oh, you're Asian, but you're not Asian, or I don't think of you that way, or
not like the other
you're
ones.
not like that.
Right, it's so dismissive and belittling, and like, I feel like people say that thinking that they're making other people feel seen, but you're really doing
Like
the
it's a
exact
compliment?
opposite. Like, you're erasing a big part of me that defines my experience, and it doesn't help. So, okay. Question.
Yes.
How are you feeling about you and your dad's relationship going forward? Like, do you feel hopeful that he's gonna get a little more woke and that y'all can like keep working on it?
Oh, it's hard. He's 70. And, and I came to terms a while ago, like when I had kids of my own, that if I wanted to have a relationship with him and model to my children that, despite your differences, family is family. And even though it's hard, you do what it takes to love them, and for me, that involves a lot of acceptance and forgiveness of things that are not easy, At least we're having a conversation. And is he going to change? Are those blinders going to be lifted? Like, I have no idea, and I'm hesitant to hope for that because it's something I wanted so badly for so long, and when you want someone to change, like, that's usually a recipe for misery.
This is heavy and it's tough and it's your dad and I can tell how much you love him. So, I mean, hang in there, girl. Fight the good fight for as long as you can. And don't forget to take care of yourself because you're important. Na, 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 na.
Thank you. And thank you guys so much. Like, you have been just a lifeline for.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for your work.
Thank you for listening to our work, because otherwise this would just be us in the closet talking to nobody.
Hi, Alex.
Hello.
Hey, girl. Hey.
Yo, what's up?
How you doing, girl?
You know, I am so great.
Good.
I'm ready for Christmas time.
Ooh. Christmas time in Omaha, of all places. Is
I
that where
know.
you're, like, from on purpose?
I was like, is that where I'm from on purpose?
Like where you were born.
I was not born here. So I actually have lived here for like the last 10 years.
That's
so
a
it
long
definitely
time.
has grown on me. But currently it is -5 degrees outside, no wind chill. So it's freezing.
No.
That's not okay. We're
Yeah,
gonna pray for you.
no.
We're gonna pray for you on
Thank
that point.
you. Thank you.
So Omaha, very white place. You have this boyfriend who is also white.
Yes. So I love him so much.
Aw. Can we give
is
your boyfriend
learning
a
a
fake
lot.
name? I would love to give him a fake name.
Oh, okay.
Is that okay? How about
yeah, you do it.
Kevin, Duncan, Spike.
Spike. Congratulations,
Chad.
your boyfriend's new name is Spike.
All
so
right, love that.
the
So
issue that you are
Spike-
having, yes, what Spike's family
Yes,
would
great
not
people.
would not stop touching your hair over Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Give us a
girl.
breakdown. Was it a drive-by? Was
Right.
it purposeful?
Did they announce it? Did they ask?
So, the night before, you know, you're going, it's Thanksgiving, you do a twist out, it's nice. Mind you,
Yes, as one does.
I did the big chop like 2 years ago in February. So my hair is like long at this point.
Uh-huh.
And it was on fleek. I'm not going to lie. It was looking good.
Okay.
So we get there to the house, and like I've met them before. We've been dating for like a little less than a year at this point. So I've met them before, but I've never met his nephew before. So his nephew's like 12.
Oh.
And he, you get it. You get where this is going. So the nephew's like 12.
There's nothing that terrifies me more than like a 12-year-old white boy.
I know.
They have no sense of boundaries or impulse
Nothing.
control. It's like anything can
Zero.
happen at any time.
He also like made it very apparent that like he for sure had a crush on me. I don't know if that's because he had never seen a black person before, and like I was like new to him.
Oh
or
no,
something.
he's gonna have a lifetime of chocolate fantasies all because of
I
you.
know. So we get done eating, and I am sitting on like my boyfriend's lap on a chair, and my back was to the room, and then.
First mistake.
Yeah, I
Never
know,
sit
right?
with your back to a room full of white people, girl. With your twist out.
I put my guard down. I know.
Never put a twist out.
I
So
know.
accessible
Never
to the
put a twist out to the back of the room. Anyway, so my back's to the room, and all of a sudden I feel hands in my hair.
No.
So
I hear the
I
Jaws music in my head.
yeah, it was like. Yeah. So I turn around and I'm like, Tyler, did you want to touch my hair? Is that what we're doing today? We're touching each other's hair.
Ooh, I
And
love
then-
a good. Is that what we're doing?
Oh, really? Is this
Is
what
that
it
what we're
is?
doing today? Mhm.
Love it.
And at this point, I like turned back to my boyfriend, who like we've had this conversation that you don't touch someone's hair. You kind of have a pass because you're dating me. So like my hair is okay to touch. Other people's hair not okay to touch.
Listen, I believe that the Bible says train up a white man in the way that he should go.
Exactly, right? So we're
You're working
learning.
on
We're
it.
learning.
Wait. So is this a thing he had done before? Was this like new knowledge
nephew?
to him? No. Your
nephew?
boyfriend.
Spike.
Oh, as it was happening, he was like, no. Like you could see in his face, like, what is happening? I'm so uncomfortable by what is going on.
No.
This is not an okay
Was this
thing
the
that's
first
going
time
on.
he was witnessing a brown woman get her hair touched?
So funny, other story that we can bring up. We were in the bar like 3 months ago, and this very drunk other white lady comes up to me. No warning at all. Hands up at 90 degrees. Elbows at 90 degrees. Just coming at me.
A
Straight
drive-by
for the
petting.
hair.
That's a flyby, I would say.
It was slow motion. There was no drive-by. It was slow motion intentional. So I'm like,
she made eye contact and shot you.
Yes. And she's like, and it was like she was speaking slowly. She's like, it's so pretty.
And you were like,
no.
So I also put my hands at 90 degrees and grab her by the wrist and just lightly placed her hands back by her side.
Okay.
Like,
girl,
we're not going to do that. That's not something we're going to do.
I like this. Okay, so
he had witnessed this before in action.
Right.
Yes, he had witnessed this before, and he knew that I had physically grabbed someone before, so he was a little nervous, like, you're with
she about
my
to fuck up my
family,
cousin.
this is 12 years old. Yeah.
Pray for Tyler.
What's going to happen?
Hashtag pray for Tyler.
Right.
He's about to be a hashtag.
So then he's like, so you can see that all of this is happening. This is like in a matter of 5 seconds. So then his mom was like, well, what does it feel like? And I'm like, no.
Wait, she asked
No.
she asked Tyler what it feels like, or you?
She asked her son Tyler what it felt like.
Wow.
She's like, what does it feel like?
Like I'm literally a sheep in a petting zoo who cannot answer this question herself.
Exactly.
Wow.
Listen, the
So
thing
then
that I can't
finally,
abide, like,
I
don't
was
talk about
like-
me like I'm not in the room. I could
Exactly,
never get over that. Okay.
Right. So finally I was just like, well, I guess you all have been wondering, so I'm going to open this up for the next 5 seconds.
Oh
so you
my
guys
God.
can get this all out of your system. I'm going to be around for some time.
Oh my God.
Wait.
Yo. You better hold court.
So wait, did you let them
So-
touch your hair or just like fill all their questions? Like what happened in this 5 seconds?
Oh, I let them touch it.
Wow.
I said, you may touch it.
Girl, you love him
And
a
the thing
lot.
I know.
I
I was about
know,
to say.
right?
He better Spike, you better be
Right.
you better. Spike.
Yeah.
You better.
You better.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I did that. And the thing that I hate when people touch your hair, like the thing, like I bet you can guess the statement that is the worst statement to ever be said.
What is it?
It's so
It's
soft.
so soft. Yeah.
It's
Like what were you
so soft.
expecting?
Yeah, like what did you think it was going to feel?
Right.
It's hair.
Oh my God, it's
on
not
my
barbed wire.
head.
Right. Oh my gosh. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt my
You
hand.
are human.
Oh my gosh, you have hair just like me.
Oh my God, we're
Listen.
not that different.
Oh my God, maybe we're both the same.
Black people, they're just like us.
Alex. Oh my gosh,
Be
listen.
like me.
So 2 things. Number 1, you are a fantastic sport.
Yeah,
for
you the real
allowing
MVP.
people to get
1.
that close to your brain.
Thank you.
And
thank you.
2, thank you for sharing this story with us and
Oh my gosh,
chit-chatting.
I am so happy to be talking to you. You guys are awesome.
Oh, so are you. And listen, girl, keep your head up out there in Omaha. Bundle up.
I got this. Don't worry.
All right.
We find a few people that look like us. We give them the nod.
Yeah.
Pros.
So, okay, I'm not going to worry about you then because you got it.
Yeah,
girl.
we're
You got
good.
it.
We're good.
Thank you, Alex. Have a happy holiday.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah, have a great life, Spike. Get yourself together.
No,
There you go,
Tyler's
there
got to
you
get
go.
it.
Oh, wait, I mean Tyler. Shout out to Spike.
Yes.
You know
Spike
what.
is good. Tyler, on the other hand, we
Spike.
got it.
We
We're
know.
raising him up in the way you should go. You know.
Listen, praise.
Okay, so I have never really thought about what a citizen's arrest is useful for.
I mean, I already know.
But
This is
I
good.
feel like a useful iteration of it could be you are witnessing a person's hair about to be touched.
Oh my gosh.
It's happening before you.
And so you
slow
like
motion.
dive in
and
to
you
make
just,
it stop.
You just yell and dive.
No.
You yell no, but also citizen's arrest. If someone's like, wait, I'm about to be arrested, there are consequences for touching someone's hair.
Oh my God, Heaven, what if we started a web series where we are natural hair touching police? And we just walk around citizens arresting people at like bars.
You
and shit.
call us.
Call
There's
us.
a
We'll be
hotline.
there. Listen, I don't know who this lady is, but she keeps talking to me about The Wire, and I think she's going to touch somebody's hair tonight.
Be ready.
We're on our way. Ba-da-da-dun-dun-dun. Hair cops. Heaven, guess what time it is?
Time to bust a run.
Oh,
Time
Heaven,
to
guess
bust
what
a
time it
run.
is?
Time to bust a run.
Can
you
I
hear any of the syllables in that?
No, that's why
I
how you spell it?
love.
Listeners, if you know how to spell tweet us and let us know. Okay, my
right.
round. I would like to go first because I'm so excited.
Okay, I'm listening.
I would like to buy a round for our producers here on the show, Nina Paddock and Chiquita Pascal. Listen, a thing that I want to happen in 2017 is we should be profiled. And like when I say we, I mean like the Pod Squad as a whole. Because like
facts.
when we're
Speak
in
on
meetings, I'm gonna speak on it. I'm gonna do it. But when we're in meetings together, sometimes it feels like I'm just like there as a spectator watching, and I'm watching like all the ideas that people are throwing out, and like Nina makes the best terrible puns, and Chiquita is just like, I described her once as just like a ray of sunshine with an afro, and everybody is so smart and so fun, and they really make coming to work for me like a real blessing. Because I had some mad job. And this is not a bad job. This is a good job. And these are good people. And I love them so much. But no, they're great, and I'm glad that they're here. Nina, I'm glad you're here.
Oh, Pawn Squad.
Pawn Squad.
Pawn Squad.
Who are you been around?
You know who I'd like to buy around for?
Me.
Tracy, it is you.
Shut up.
I'm not joking.
Are you lying to me?
I'm not joking.
Heben, you're just doing this because you need to get back at me for all the times I've made you cry in the studio.
Okay, maybe.
Rude. No way.
I was just thinking about how much it is very difficult
Already crying.
to have a friendship and working friendship with someone. Like a business relationship and a friendship. Like that is a feat. There's literally no one else in the world I'd rather do that with than you, Tracy. I feel like not only do you bring out the best parts of me.
This is too much. Oh my God.
Like not only can I point to exact moments when I was like, wow, Tracy just made me a better human right here in this
Oh
moment.
my, what are you, stop it. I'm bad at this.
Like obviously there are moments I can point to that are like, wow, Tracy improved my life. But I do feel like I hadn't really thought about what we can achieve together until we were apart. And then when we were back together, I was like, wow.
All right, give me a tissue.
It was
beautiful.
It was just sort of like a clarifying moment of like, I knew we were dope. I knew you were dope.
Oh my gosh.
I knew we could do dope things together, but there's nothing quite like making magic with you. I just carry you with me everywhere I am.
Heben Louise.
I love you so much, Tracy.
I love you too.
All right, now everybody start weeping. I love you so much.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, it's time to cry my way through credits. Are we ready?
We ready.
Thank you so much to all our callers. We appreciate y'all so much.
For real. It is hard to share your family with other people sometimes.
It is. And also it's hard to live with families.
Listen.
Families are a lot.
So thank you for being our chosen family.
Oh my gosh.
When
You're right.
your family sometimes is not enough.
Yeah, when they're a little too human for you.
And thank you for still working on them.
Yeah.
And not giving up.
And take care of yourselves too. As you're dealing with all this stuff and supporting everybody else, take care of yourself. Shout out to the Poet Squad. Poet Squad. Is this how we're going to say Poet Squad? Thanks to the Poet Squad.
Julia was an astounding no.
Yeah, no. So shout out to the Pod Squad. Pod Squad. I like that one. Pod Squad. This episode was produced by Julia Furlan and Nina Paddock, with editorial oversight from Eleanor Kagan and Meg Kramer, and production support by our very own Ray of Sunshine with an Afro, Chiquita Pascal. Thank you to Paul Ruiz at Argo Studios, and also to Ivan Koreev with the assist who helped us out today. Also, thanks to our big-headed friend Gene Demby of NPR's Code Switch and of postbougie.com, which he didn't shout out. That's
Thanks,
fine.
Big Head.
Thank you. Follow him on Twitter and read all of the stuff and the things.
You know he be tweeting.
You know he be tweeting. He be tweeting. Thank you to our in-house musicians, Jean Gray. You can follow her at Jean Greasy, and Don Will of the Almighty Tanya Morgan. You can follow him at Don Will. Follow Heben, who tweets as Heben Rants on Twitter, Heben like the place in the sky. Heben, you know what I'm always fascinated by? It's how many people don't know how to pronounce your actual name.
It's
like people
Heben.
in our
It's a
real
typo.
lives who have been like, your name's been Heben all this time.
It's true. Shout out to Brokey McPoverty.
Yeah.
Who shall be broke no longer.
Hey,
in
man.
2K17.
Listen, claim it. Claim it.
Putting
Also,
it out
buy us stuff from our Amazon wish list. I haven't made one yet, but I'm going to. I've been really, really inspired lately.
I love
hit
mine.
Us. I can't wait to see yours in this scientific ass jigsaw puzzle. Hit us on the buzz, y'all. You can email us at another round. You can tweet us at another round. You can Facebook us at another round. All of the things at another round.
You can rate us on iTunes and nominate us for all the prizes.
Especially a Pulitzer.
I don't
Is that
even
what
know
we're
if they
gonna
can
do?
give them to podcast, but yes.
I mean, we'll never know until we try, right?
Exactly.
Right.
You know who taught us that?
Who?
You.
What?
You're the first person to say that.
I was not expecting that answer again. Oh my God, subscribe to the newsletter. It's so good.
It turns Tracy into Cookie Monster. It's so good. That's how good it is.
You can subscribe at BuzzFeed.com/anotherround/newsletter. What else? Drink some water, take your meds, call your person.
Call your person.
Call your person.
Yeah. Also, in the newsletter, we're going to put a bunch of resources that have helped
Oh.
us with family dynamics, identity stuff, just so people have a place to just get started.
Sounds good.
We all have families. We weren't all born knowing what cisgender means.
Yeah.
We all got to start somewhere.
Gotta start somewhere.
You got it, y'all. Bye.
Bye. Goodbye to everyone except Tilda Swinton.
To which I say, good day. I said, good day, Tilda. Good day.
Did you see RuPaul's Drag Race last night?
Of course I did.
It blew my mind.
It's all I ever talk about, and I can't find anybody to talk about it with, so I am so thankful that you're here.
I mean, you have become my RuPaul's Drag Race soulmate, and I am thrilled that we have a new podcast at BuzzFeed called The Library, where this is all we talk about.
Here, it truly is RuPaul's best friend race.
I could not agree with you more. So join us every Saturday as we recap the latest episode of Season 9 and gag over TV's best reality show.
Tune in wherever you find your podcasts.